All right, so the theme of today is cooperation. It's feeling very hard. I lost my shit the other day about people who voted for Trump, right? It feels very hard to collaborate and cooperate with people who blatantly just disregard people's humanity. And I want to remind us that we're exactly where we need to be as a collective. There are certain truths that need to be unveiled that wouldn't have been had we not been in this certain circumstance. There are systems and structures that are being dismantled, and the truth about certain companies, certain people are coming out into the light more than before we got into this position. It is showing us what we need to know, and it's hard and it feels hurtful. But within it, we have the opportunity to forgive, we have the opportunity to heal, and we have the opportunity to integrate so that we don't perpetuate cycles of pain, because it doesn't serve anybody. So I pulled this card. You can see she's kind of a mermaid. She has this anchor, this hook kind of tied to this ship with these men on it. I'm going to read this, and then we are going to integrate a belief. I'm going to kind of channel into what collectively we need at this moment, so we can choose in the highest expression of our energies, and we can choose in the best interest of humanity moving forward. So it says power, responsibility, fate, grace. A mermaid sits on a rock and gazes toward the ocean. A small ship floats nearby, connected with her through a rope. She has the power to decide the destiny of this ship and the fate of the crew. With a flick of her wrist, she could toss the ship against the shore, or she could let it continue on its journey. What will the mermaid decide to do? She has suffered great loss in her life. Will she continue the cycle of pain, or will she allow healing and grace to calm the waters? What is our greatest dream for our country? What is it that we want to see? What is it that we want to be? How do we want to be perceived as Americans? I think it's an important question, and I don't think that there is a right way to kind of get there. But I do think that it has to start with healing, and it has to start with cooperation, and it has to start with love for just humanity. So with your permission, I would like to facilitate a balance for you. The first balance that we're going to do is called a TPS, transform the perception of stress. And we have to get the stress out of our system so we can turn on our brain capacity. We can't move to forgiveness when we are so hurt. We can't move into collaboration when we are in so much pain. Our natural instinct is to protect ourselves and even to lash out, right? So this first balance, we're going to really concentrate on the state that we're in right now. I have clients from all over the world. I'm specifically focused right now on Americans. So feel free to do this balance though, like if you're not in America, because I know the world is dealing with similar things. I just saw, Berlin, there was a protest against fascism. So we're not the only ones going through it, which I guess is somewhat comforting. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our eyes open, looking down, everything uncrossed. So if your legs are crossed, uncross them. We're gonna think about our current political landscape and the horrors that we're experiencing at this moment and witnessing at this moment. And really bring everything to mind from the stories you've read, from what you've heard, from people's experiences. You're going to cross your left ankle over your right ankle and your right wrist over your left wrist. what we're doing in this balance is we're really going through all the emotions. We're processing the sadness and the sorrow that underlies our anger. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to allow ourselves to just move through whatever stories, whatever narratives, whatever pain needs to come up and out until we reach a peace and non-attached state. In this, we're really going to have the intention of, what is it that I need to know right now? What is it that I need to connect with to open my heart, right? And so left ankle over right ankle, right wrist over left wrist. We are going to pause the video. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to integrate this balance, relieving the pain, relieving the sorrow, and coming to peace. Go ahead and pause the video if you haven't. Okay, once you've done the balance, you can come out and put all 10 fingertips together, completing the circuitry and allowing your subconscious and conscious minds to catch up with each other. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more at ease, a little less tense about the situation. Please let me know in the comments what you felt, what you sensed in your body, what maybe messages you received from your higher self. When we take the stress out of our bodies, we're able then to kind of come back online, right? We're able to create more brain functioning, create more circulation in our system, turn on our creative problem-solving mechanisms, and connect with our higher self, God, whatever you're connected with, right? To receive wisdom that we were too in the weeds to see before. And so I'm going to pull a message for the collective, and we will integrate a new belief to support us through this time, really taking in the energy of this idea of choice, that we have an option to choose grace for ourselves and for others, because without that, we continue the cycle of pain. And sometimes it hurts to be the one who heals. And I'm just going to kind of tune into what is it that we need to believe about ourselves so that we can truly move to a connected, collaborative, loving state. Interestingly, this message comes from one of the ETs that a creator on here channels or gets telepathic information from. He was Enlil, and he at one point in history, he held the polarity of destruction and kind of the South Pole energy, and his brother held the other pole of creation and positivity, right? And through his soul's evolution, he was able to find compassion and love, and now he's transitioned into alien Prometheus, which it goes into Greek mythology. The message that he had was interesting because it's been reflected back to me. Kitty Foster, who is the storytelling astrologer on here, we were talking the other day about Maleficent and how evil has an origin story. And his message was, we've all done things that maybe we're not so proud of, some of them on bigger scales than others, and understanding that the only way through our soul's evolution is to connect with that divine love, that divine forgiveness, that divine compassion for ourselves, because without that, we can't express it in others. His message was, he had to be shown that in order for him to see that he didn't need to destroy, and he can use that same power to hold with purpose and strength, instead of in a negative light, right? And I think that's the message for us. This is going to have to be a part 2 because I didn't get into the belief. I'm going to quickly channel what that belief needs to be and then come back and we will do part 2 of this video to integrate this new belief. We may do a couple beliefs in part 2. I need to kind of tune into this energy.